story. So I'm the team leader in the office and I meet with new agents. I had the opportunity to meet with Mike and tell him all about KW. One of the things I say when meeting with the agents is what makes our training different is it's taught by agents in production. So I'm not an agent and I'm not in production. But I am a very smart guy and I've been here for 3 years now, so I'm gonna make good use of this backgrounder and share those insights. And we'll try to have a good discussion in spite of my limitations. And hi to Elsie as well.
Hi.
So let's talk about lead conversion. Maybe first off, and we sort of jumped there, but how do we describe a lead? What's your definition? There's one here from Gary Keller, but how would you describe a lead?
Well, to me, a lead is anyone that you could potentially talk to. It doesn't have to be someone who's necessarily looking to buy or sell at the moment, but it's someone you can interact with and develop a business relationship with.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, that's part of the process. Ideally, I guess Gary Keller in this definition is qualifying it a bit more, right? Wanting to make sure they're ready, willing, and able to do business now. Because as we'll see as we go through the presentation, the focus is really on getting to a point where you can have a direct conversation with them. So someone who isn't in that situation is also a lead, but you treat them differently. So they go in your database and you're nurturing it, you're showing value, all those good things, right?
Yeah.
But ideally, and they make mention here, everyone else, enter them in the database and follow up with them till they get to that point where they're ready to make a move or to buy and have a direct conversation with them at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, Aldrich. Hi, Andrea. The other key
Hi, Dave.
thing,
Hi, everyone.
the other key thing is when they're at that stage, you're wanting to book an appointment. That's a key thing both in real estate and in the work that I do. It's all about getting that appointment because that's where the magic can happen, right? You can talk about your capability, how you can support them in either buying a home or selling. And that's where you can have that one-on-one discussion. So your focus needs to be on getting the appointment, right? So we'll keep going. And so this, and the next slide. So this is all about how to get the appointment. And part of it is around getting to know the lead. So they talk about a number of key things here. So keep going, Aldrich. Yeah, so one of the things they go through here is behavioral styles. So there's a personality assessment that we do on candidates, and it's called a DISC profile. And what that allows you to do is get a better understanding of what makes them tick. So when you're communicating with them, you're talking in a way that's relevant to them. So you can think the D is dominance. So someone who's get to the facts, how quickly can you sell it? What do you want to list it at? And You know, give me the details sort of thing that way. If you look at someone who's a C or compliant, they want all the facts and figures and they want to avoid conflict. You need to take your time with them, give them time to think. So it's important to get to know your clients. Actually, one of our agents has, Sarah Stevens has a neat tool that she uses. There's 4 cards that she uses, and they're basically along the same line as these. And she has her clients rank them. And then she can tell directly what type of character they are and how best to deal with them. So she uses those and tailors her approach to them, right? So that's an important thing. The other part of building a rapport is a thing they call FORD. So it's looking at family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So using those things as a way to get to know them. So Mike's very active, you're a skier, and by knowing things like that, you can again tailor your pitch to them, your discussion to them. They give a couple examples in here. She was trying to get an appointment with the police officer. And so she was using a scenario where you're in a shootout, and who do you want supporting you or as your partner? Someone who's been in that situation before, or someone who's new to real estate and doesn't have the background. So she was trying to make the point, you want to go to someone who's skilled. So you use that information to tailor your pitch. Is anyone using those sorts of approaches when working with clients?
I think whenever you're working with anybody, like any kind of sales interaction or anything like that, you always want to make sure that you try to reflect what they're giving you. To make sure that you're communicating with them in a way that suits them best. So you kind of have to be a bit of a chameleon to find that fit, and that happens through the discussion. Just like any group that forms, and it can be a group of 2, you're going to go through that storming, forming, going, and performing that you can go through 3 of those 4 stages really quickly, depending on how they receive your communication style, or it might take a little bit longer for you to morph to them,
right,
for the best results.
Mm.
Yeah, so I feel like I've done that in a lot of different situations, and sometimes it happens really fast, and other times it takes a long time to get there.
They're introverted.
Yeah.
Yeah, not willing to open up.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, so that's talking to the DISC profile, the behavioral styles. So let's keep going. There's the rapport, one more. Okay, and then one more. So these are tips for getting an appointment. So looking at that list, what would you say is maybe 1 or 2 of the most important?
Be an expert in your market and have confidence in your ability.
Sure, yeah. And then, of course, listening, right? There's a tendency when you know a lot about the market to maybe elaborate a little more than you need to, and flip it around and let them be doing most of the talking. And through your listening, you're finding out what's important to them and how to tailor each stage of the approach. Yeah. Um, So how can you show your confidence, Brian, in the market? Or, sorry, in your ability?
Uh, you're right. By listening to the client, by coming prepared to meet with them.
Yeah. Some of the other things, scripting, practicing scripts. Um. Same handling objections and role playing. All important ways to build your confidence, right? Um, so let's go to the next. There's 5 more here. Oh. So coming from contribution. So that can be asking a simple question, like, what can I help you with today, right? So you're trying to show contribution, rather than just asking for the business. And again, building that relationship. The next one, beginning with the end in mind, so ultimately, again, you want that appointment. So in your mind, asking questions to help you get to that point, and they use the term, the person who asks questions controls the conversation. So it's important to be asking lots of good questions. Helps you gather more information, and the buyer seller can reveal their true motivation and concerns. So have a list of questions to be asking them. The other part is responding quickly. Not leaving them hanging. An opportunity comes in, jump on it, get back to them immediately. It shows that you're interested, you're prepared, and you're going to support them. And then number 10 is all about communicating in person. If this is someone who's truly in a position where they're ready to get buying or selling, then make the phone call, right? Pick up the call. Don't be texting or emailing. Communicate with them directly in person. Okay, so let's keep going. Talk about internet inquiries. Is anyone using the internet for recruiting?
Well, not me personally for recruiting people right now, but internet leads come through from like Realtor.ca or wherever they
Yeah.
may come, but yeah.
What's your process
So
into?
the process is when a lead comes in, if it's not in the middle of the night, it could be calling them right away,
Yeah.
to hopefully get them on the phone, and then do your best to build a quick rapport with them to set the appointment or to start letting them know that we can get them into see the property as soon as possible, and that sort of stuff, just to sort of not let anybody else grab them before
Right.
you do.
Mhm.
That's how I would handle it.
Yeah, one of the things they showcase in the background there is, they can be at a different stage in the process. So they make the position that they're more likely at the beginning stages, so they're starting out on their own or online, looking at different sites to check different houses, and so they might be a little earlier in the process. Is that something you're finding, or?
Well, in my direct experience, couldn't tell you right now, because I haven't been able to get people to, well, the last few weeks that I've had haven't materialized to that stage yet. Call, email, text, like for a few days, and then they don't reply, answer, or anything like that, so it's been a bit of a dead end for a few of them so far.
Yeah.
But in the longer term, you want to find out what their motivations are, find out where they are in the process, and then cultivate that relationship to get them to go out and look, because it's never too early to look.
Right, right?
Yeah.
Are they going in your database? And, yeah.
Put them all in the deck, cultivate everybody.
Brilliant. Um. Okay, let's keep going. Um. So down to consultation, pre-qualification. So keep going, Aldrich. Next. And next. Yeah, so this is, once you book the appointment, here you're looking at your notes. Here you're trying to gather information about them prior to the face-to-face meeting that you're going to get. Some of the ways to do that, they highlight here, things like the CMA. Some of the teams are using AI to build those, so they can, one of them is actually setting up coffee meetings in a coffee shop and inviting people over. They'll give them a free coffee. They sit with them and they do a CMA, and they've got it set up through AI, or they can do it in a minute sort of thing, right? So really powerful way to connect with them. You get all their information, their address and all those important details. And again, you're showing value with them, right? And then with them setting up marketing plans, so the touch points. Let's keep going. So working with sellers, some of the questions that they're identifying you could be asking are things like, how did you find me? How did you identify you as an agent or your team, right? And why that's important is it helps you fine tune your lead generation activities. So if most of the leads are coming from your website, then that's an area where you can be focused. You also want to make sure you're getting their information. So questions like, how can I get in touch with you in the future? If you're happy with the CMA that I've done, please share your information so that I can get in touch with you and follow up. Where I identify opportunities for your house. Other things are important questions. What is their motivation for selling? So are they just testing the market? Are they very, is it an estate sale? Are they wanting to sell, their job is moving to Vancouver or something? So they need to be selling quickly. So that can tell you how urgent the interaction needs to be. And another question you can be discussing with them is the marketability of their homes. So questions like, how much do you think your home is worth? To find out what they have in mind as a value. Ask things like square footage, details about the home, bathrooms, bedrooms, those sorts of things, the age of the house. All important things that you'll need to know when selling. And then another key one is their financial situation. How much they owe on the mortgage. Are they in a position where they bought at the peak of the market and at where they need to be selling it? There isn't a lot of equity that's built in there. and some potential issues around that. And then again, it's asking for the appointment to meet with them directly and go through all the details on selling your home. Similarly, questions to ask the buyer. Again, getting their personal details, how to be in touch with them. One of the tips they provide is using their names. So sitting down with Michael, use Michael a lot, and it's interesting how people pick up on that psychologically. It shows much of a better connection with them. People like to hear their name, right? So try not to forget it and use it often. When you're asking for information from them, so you're asking for their phone number, one of the tips they use is to make sure you're getting the right phone number. Say the phone number out loud and change a number. And if they correct you and read it back again, you know it's the right number. You could also use that when meeting people socially. Make sure they're not giving you a fake number. Another key one is, do they have a relationship already with a real estate agent? If they do, you can ask how it's going. Let them know if anything changes, that you're available if they wanna talk further. If the relationship's not going well, look for that appointment again.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's only so much we can do about it if they're under contract.
Yeah. But those relationships sour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Always
you could say,
be available.
if it sours, give me a call, you're fine,
Yeah,
but yeah, just don't wanna lose touch with the wife, right?
yeah. Another one is finding out who are the decision makers? Is it an individual, a husband and wife? And in your interactions, you want to make sure that both are involved in the discussion. I don't want to get to a point where you've got the wife convinced on a house and the husband goes, hey, wait a minute. It doesn't have a man cave. We're not moving forward on that, right? So make sure you know all that are involved in it, and also who else will be living in the house. Are there a number of kids, and how would that factor into their decision making, right? And what is their motivation for buying? Are they at a critical point? Is it they're just, they call them a looky-loo. And they're gonna waste your time, so make sure that they're truly interested. The other part is, find out if if they need to sell their home first before they're buying. So there's an opportunity there's two opportunities there, or they're a renter and that's, when that lease or the rental agreement is coming up. Another key one with them is financing, right? Have they been meeting with the mortgage agent? How much are they approved for? And making sure that again, they're qualified and ready and able to make that decision. They even going to hear that they test the mortgage lender, making sure they're reputable. Oh yeah, I know you're approved for $5 million, and it's not a reputable mortgage company. I don't know that that's really the case in Canada, right? None of us.
Owner, yeah.
What else do we have? Find out the price range, that they have in mind, and again, who the influential person is in the decision making. And we'll go on to the next. Next slide, please. And next. Oh, common buyer questions. So I don't know if you've ever had the situation where the buyer asks, can I just drive by the house? You know, I don't want to interrupt you or bother you. How about I just drive by the house? You know, some of the challenges there, you lose the contact and connection with them. So you want to make sure that you're involved in that. You know, you're able to get them into the house, so they're not just seeing the outside of it. Houses can sell quickly if you're there, you can find out the stage of it. And if it's something they're really interested in, then you can help them act quickly and get them out for it. So another question they might ask is, can you tell me the schools for that location? So, yeah, great question, an important one for families. Key questions for you in response are things like, how old are your children? Are they in public school? Are they in high school? And you know, getting to know those details so you can tailor your response. Another question they might have is, how negotiable is the price? You know, do you know if they're willing to negotiate? And the response back is, you know, what sort of range are they looking for in a price? So you can provide them information on what's currently available in the market. Thoughts, comments, questions? No?
It's all good stuff.
All good stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Next slide. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever got objections from buyers or sellers, right? So a common one might be, I'm not gonna buy for a while. You know, it's not a short-term decision. So one response could be, how would you like a completely free consultation? So you can walk through the entire process with them. Just so they're aware that things like this don't happen overnight. There's a whole process to it. And even if they're not looking to buy for a while, you know, they might be thinking 6 months is a while. Well, you know, let's walk through the process to get to 6 months. Maybe we need to start looking at certain things at this time, but make them more aware. I'm in a lease and I'm not ready. Similar, right? You know, if they've got 30 days left on the lease, and they want to move into a home, then it's urgent, right? Or depending on the amount of time. Saying, you know, if they're not moving for a couple of months, let's get started today and show them the process. So they're not caught in that hard place where they need a property right away and they're not buying necessarily what they are ideally looking for. Another one might be, we're just looking. Again, look for an opportunity to sit down with them and have a conversation. again, about all the steps and processes. Another one might be, I've got a friend who's a real estate agent. I don't know if anyone's ever had that question or response. How would you respond?
Well, yes, I mean, one way you can look at it is like, do you want your friends to know like all of your inside business? You know, because it's a pretty intimate relationship with a realtor, and you don't want to necessarily sour a good relationship with a person on a personal level, whereas our relationship would be strictly more professional. So I think I would act in your best interest without having the emotional side of things
Yeah.
attached to it.
Yeah, and I totally see that, right? And a lot of times agents will go, my best friend didn't use me as an agent, right? And it's for those exact reasons, right? They're gonna know everything about your finances and where you're at and what you're able to afford and. You know, some people want to keep that confidential and to themselves, so, yeah.
Not put strain on their personal relationships for a big life decision.
Right. What about the fix-up response? You know, we plan on selling our home, but not until we fix it up, and I'll call you back then. An opportunity there is to talk about renovations, right? What are good renovations and ones that aren't? Are you spending a lot of money on, I wanna redo my kitchen? And then a buyer comes in and goes, oh, I don't like that style of kitchen, right? And here you've spent all kinds of money and taken all kinds of time. So important to share with them your insights around what things are valuable, like painting, things that you get a quicker return on. Before they go down the path. Another one might be around, I can find a home on my own. You know, I'll just go on House Sigma and I'll check out and I'll find a house. So I guess there you can get some additional insight. You can get access to homes that are coming up, they're not yet on the market. And potentially save them a little bit of time. And. Oh. So one last one. We'll go down to. So putting it all together. One page here is focused on customers to avoid. So there can be a tendency to get the listing, right? But not always the best approach. You're gonna be spending a lot of time, you know, promoting it, cash out of your pocket. If they're not realistic on the price and where it needs to be, then you could be spending a lot of time and effort on something that you know from having done the comparables, it's not gonna sell at that price. So if that's the case with a seller, then sometimes best just to move on. An option there is to give a referral. I don't know if they, if you've got an agent who you're in contact with who does a low commission. For example, there's 1%ers. You might do a referral to that agent and say, if you're really focused on a low commission, I've got an agent who does that type of work. That's not me. But let me put you in contact with Susie Norrie, who's a friend of mine, who's with 1% Realty, right? She can look out. So a way to at least get something from them. Buyers to avoid, ones that are obviously connected with another real estate agent. We don't want to go down that path. Or buyers who are unwilling to be pre-approved for a mortgage. You don't want to be working with a buyer who thinks they can buy a $2 million home when they just can't get approval in that sort of way. Any other buyers or sellers you would want to avoid? Any other scenarios?
Sure, response. Yeah, bigger than rain.
Yeah. Good, so. Putting it all together on the next slide. So they talk about, in the next slide, the lead generation. Oh. Sorry, I think it's the last slide, Aldred. Oh, back one. Right there. So putting it all together, lead generation. Is anyone doing time blocking?
Getting
Getting, okay?
Yeah.
So the key time to be lead generating, according to all the readings, is 9 to noon, right? Get that part of your day over with quickly. Put up a do not disturb sign on your door if you're in an office. And don't allow for any interruptions. And if you, for some reason, you've got an appointment in the morning, then there's no skipping. So if you've got to change that 9 to 12 time or replace it with the time in the afternoon to make sure that you get the required time in. And I'm sad to say, but that's the presentation. Any ahas from the folks online? Any key things from the material?
So it's all agreed.
So, yeah, it's all pretty straightforward stuff. To me, the key one is the disc profile, getting to know the clients, to really be able to tailor your messaging, the information you're providing, and how you're responding. You know, I do that even with agents I'm meeting with, right? If they're a top performing agent, you don't waste their time. You cut right to the areas that they're concerned with. Someone just starting out will be looking for a lot more information, right? So, yeah. Okay, folks, well, hopefully you're still there. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining, and go get them. Make those calls. Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thanks, guys.
Nice work, Dave. Doing all right.